Is freight on an uptick? Let's find out. Stay tuned right after this. Ah, yes. Good morning. How is you? How are you? How is you all? How are you, man? Let's see. Oh, gotta fix this. Got my coffee. I know there's a couple of like trucking operators in here. Look what I got. Ooh, I'm fancy. I look like a fanboy right now. Isn't that funny? Anyways, but anyways, yeah. So there you go. I'm a fanboy narcissist. I got my coffees over here, and all that jazz. So, anyways, good morning. It's the 145th day of the year. What have you done? Where has it gone? We're more than a quarter into this thing, and we'll see what's up. Now, I've had some really good conversations. I see CDM Freight Broker in here. And all you guys bashing brokers, let me tell you something. You're bashing the wrong people, right? Are there bad brokers? Yes. But there's also bad drivers. Ask me how I know. But there's a lot of bad business people. And if you can get out of the way, if you can get out of your own way and do what needs to be done, you're going to get through this. But there is some good news. There is also some good news, and we'll go over it here with the low boards, plural. And if you don't have a low board subscription, what are you doing? You're missing out. You're leaving money on the table. You're doing yourself an injustice. Think about this. Let's pretend you want to open a restaurant. Instead of going to a wholesaler for your food, you just go to Walmart and buy their food, like as a grocery customer. You wouldn't make a whole lot of money, would you? Right? You got to go to a wholesaler. You got to go to the supply. If you want to open a restaurant, you have to sell food, and you have to get it the best way possible. So if you're in the spot market and you don't have a low board, you're just a grocery shopper trying to sell food. That's all you are, right? So, anyways, and I know several people watching that don't have a low board subscription, and you get what you pay for on low boards. So if you get a free low board, well, you get what you pay for. A lot more to maneuver, a lot more to get around. So, anyways, it's I don't have any words. I got too much crap on my desk. I apologize. So, anyways, here's the good news. Oh, that's not a good spot for that. All right. Gee, I hope that coffee doesn't spill on my printer. That would be a shame. All right. So, anyways, we're going to go over some freight. Now, here's the thing. So, I've been talking to CDM Freight Broker. I've been talking to a couple others. And one of the things, it's kind of like you go outside and you can look at the sky and you're like, okay, it might rain today. But if you take a deeper dive, you look at the radar, you know, okay, well, rain will come in about 8 o'clock, you know, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like you're looking at the weather and you're like, okay, plan your day according. Like, okay, it's going to be hotter today, so I should get the lawn mowed now, but it's not dry, so I got to wait till the right time. You look for signs of things to come. You look for signs that things are changing, just like in the spring. You know, the trees start to bud, you start to sneeze a little bit, you know that spring is coming. The trees are going to start getting green. The bugs are going to start flying. Same thing with the fall. You start seeing the leaves, you know, get brown and turn colors, and they turn pretty colors for a minute, and everybody's in awe. Next thing you know, it's wintertime, you're cold, and the trees are bare. Looking for the signs of change is an important strength. It's an important skill when it comes to maneuvering the spot market. And when you take someone like me that looks at several low boards and talk to 20 brokers a day, email 20 brokers a day, and they're all doing the same thing. You're seeing the same thing on these low boards. You're seeing the same thing. That's called adjusting for change. Time for preparation. The name of today's video. So here's what I'm seeing. And it started with Blitz Week. When I see a lot of team loads posted, that means they're waiting until the last minute to get these loads moved. When I see that they're posting really low rates, they're trying to minimize the damage because a lot of brokers underquoted their freight thinking that no change was coming. In other words, they thought, well, I've been moving this for $1.60 a mile, so I'm going to quote the customer $1.60 a mile. Next thing you know, they're having to pay $2. Why? Because the market that this freight is coming out of is blown up. And I'm going to go over the numbers here on the low boards here. And so you have this mix mash. Let's say out of 100 loads on the low board, 50 of them are way underquoted. They're like 30% less than what the normal rate's been going for. And then you see a batch that they're 30% over of what they've normally been going for if you're in the right market. That tells me that brokers are taking the shorts right now because they underquoted, but also they're also preparing for the uptick. Brokers are preparing for capacity to turn into our favor. And they're doing it now before they get caught with their pants down, kind of like what happened in 2020. That's good news for the drivers. It's good news for you and I as the driver, right? So, you know, CDN and I were talking, and we had a good conversation yesterday, and one of the things he brought up was if you're just sporadically chasing the money on the low board and you're never figuring out what the lanes are, you're just chasing the money, and you don't do anything consistently. Like one day you're up in New Jersey, and the next day you're up in Seattle, and the next time you're in Miami, and you're just chasing the money. Well, okay, this load paid $4,000, so I'm going over here. Oh, this load pays $4,000, I'm going over here. Next thing you know, you're frazzled. You keep putting yourself in bad situations. You sit for 2 days because you can't find a load because you didn't realize there's only 10 loads per 100 trucks coming out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, that kind of thing, right? But hey, you got a good rate going into New Mexico, but then you sat for 3 days or you deadheaded 600 miles, and therefore, boom, profit goes down. You're just kind of all over the place. You're not building relationships. You're doing a new broker every day. Let's say you got a 4-year note on your truck. Do you think you're going to be able to do that for the next 4 years to pay that truck off? Do you think that's a valid strategy? Do you think that's sustainable? No. You know, we got to hang out with Shannon. My wife and I got to hang out with Shannon last weekend, and we specifically went to Harbor Freight because she wanted straps. Because there was a semi-dedicated thing that she was wanting to get a hold of, and she wanted the opportunity to do that so she can run this triangle that she's got going on. And I helped her out with it yesterday. She doesn't want to zigzag all over the place. She's got a 6-year note on her truck, and she's got 5 years left. You think for the next 5 years she wants to sporadically bounce all over the place? No, she wants to create relationships with the brokers. She wants to create a lane, you know, and I've been made fun of for the way I've ran, right? I've been made fun of by people saying, hey, you know, all I did was go to Springfield to Columbus and back. And here's what I did. Springfield to Columbus, Columbus to Dallas, Dallas to Springfield. Or Springfield to Columbus, Columbus to Georgia, Georgia back up to Missouri, or Georgia to Texas, Texas to Missouri. That's what I did. I did not utilize the Wisconsin market too much in the spot. I've been up there a few times. I did do a few, but not a whole lot. And Michigan, I was going in on a normal basis because McCormick had loads that Transplace had that were going up there all the time. They wanted me to quote lanes and all that stuff, and I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, did I go up to the Northeast? I went to Pennsylvania once. I've been there a million times, and I knew that there was too many tolls. I knew that the terrain. I know that you can't average a good speed, and I knew you took a hit out, right? I knew you took a hit out. Now, I was like, well, you go into Dallas, you take a hit out of there. Yeah, but my strategy was coming out of Dallas, I figured out that the shorties to Oklahoma gets me closer to Missouri, and boom, I'm not taking a hit on the daily rate because I got good money going in. I would get $1,000 to go into Dallas from Springfield, mind you. 1 day run. And then from Dallas, I would get usually about $750, $800 to go from Dallas to, say, Tulsa or Joplin. Rinse, repeat. And then there was always a Joplin to Columbus. Then out of Columbus, I was heading up back into Oklahoma. And then my CH guy had a water load that came out of Oklahoma and went to Arkansas. And then from Arkansas, I hit the Joplin market. I'd rinse, repeat. I knew where I was parking. I knew where I was going. I knew the customers. And, you know, the only thing that changed was sometimes CH had these loads, sometimes Transplace had these loads, sometimes Ryan Trans had these loads. You know, they always switch because they're fighting for the freight too, right? And that's what I did. And that's what I encourage you to do. You know, chasing the money is great when the money is good, but if you're chasing the highest rate all the time, you're not developing any relationships, you know, and these brokers they don't want to deal with you here's the thing. A lot of brokers don't want to deal with vetting the carriers. They want carriers that they know and trust for years, right? The brokers, people that say, well, brokers don't care about that. Well, the ones that don't work with those. Don't work with those brokers. The brokers that will kick you off a contract over $50, don't work with them. because they obviously don't understand the process either. That's how it is, right? You wouldn't get in a romantic relationship if the partner wasn't interested, or if the partner was willing to just drop you at a moment's notice, right? And that's essentially what you're doing when you're doing these one and done loads all the time. And the brokers that treat you like that, don't work with them. Do your one load and like, wow, these people are kind of lame. So guess what? Blacklist. I'm not doing that load. And as things become more digital, as these platforms become more digital and less personal, you could still stand out. You really can. You know, that there's a story that I know where like Convoy, when they're around, they would actually go out of their way to call me when I stopped doing these particular loads. They're like, hey, man, what's going on? I said, well, your rates became too low. Well, we're willing to do this if you want to start doing these again. Obviously, they were having trouble finding trucks to do that freight. So it is possible on the digital platforms. So I'm just saying that you got to come up with a strategy. You just don't want to be all willy-nilly and random, because that's not how you pay trucks off. That's not how you get a second truck. That's not how you would dispatch a driver in your truck. You know, there's a lot of these mom and pop companies, especially out of Chicago or whatever, and that's all they do. They make their company drivers run illegal. They run all over the place. Next thing they're going from California to Miami, and they're getting 30% of nothing. They have no control. You have control. That's the thing. If you're in a self-dispatch situation, you have control. It's just a matter of figuring it out. So, anyways, that's my little rant. Let's go with the comments, and then we'll look at some low board crap. And let me get logged into these low boards. And now I do promote the 1, 2, 3 low board, but I use many. I'm using a lot, right? I'm using a lot. All right, here we go. WCF Invader. He says DOPE, exclamation point. Let's get this party started, he says. Grafton, good morning. My name is Nobody, good morning. Greg Zimmer, good morning, stranger. Yeah, when are you coming through Springfield again? LTL Money, let's go. Is it LTL or Little Money? Chief Freight Hauler, good morning from Texas. Yay. Old School, New School, just got loaded on my way to Utah. Good deal. Charity Todd, what's up? Good morning. Iowa City, Iowa, air ride, dry van, 53-foot trailer going anywhere. Sorry, there was a mosquito in here. Just get me home by Monday following week. What do you see, boss? Well, we'll take a look. Pick up next Tuesday, by the way. Friday. Good morning, Steve. Thanks for the chat yesterday. Yes, it was a great conversation. Yesterday, I was on the phone with so many people. Man, this phone. Nothing important. And I probably neglected a couple of people, and I apologize. So if you're watching, if I haven't got back to you, I'll do it today. But there will be times when I'm sitting there like for an hour waiting for an email, and then like, okay, I get my email, and all of a sudden I got 5 rate cons, 3 drivers. At one point I had 4 drivers on the phone with me at the same time. It was crazy. But I enjoy it. I love it. Charity says we still don't have our pink ponytail hats. Well, ask the man with the plan, which is not me. So I gave him a solution for that. Teespring. That way he doesn't have to handle any of it. Chief Freight Hauler, 2 spot loads this week, nursery next week. Well, good. I'm glad. I thought you were losing your nursery stuff, so that's good that you're getting it back. Jerome, I almost said Jose. I apologize. Jerome, good morning, Snorelord, and everyone. Dennis Richardville, sorry. Good morning, folks. Wimpy says, trucking is dead. Find a new career. Well, according to Biden, you guys with the 8th grade education know that you're out of a job in 4 to 5 years, right? You got to love social media. Woohoo! Good morning, everyone, says Shannon Thomas Trucking. Charity saying hi to Shannon. B-Rag, good morning. Steering wheel is missing in action. He's probably just being quiet. Not worth selling your life for $2,000 a week. I'll go home and enjoy life. You know, Wimpy, I agree with you there. Enjoy your life, man. Make the best of it. Make the most of it, right? But for the ones still in the trenches, let's help them fight the good fight. Desert Okie Pam, good morning. Said it twice. Ladies, Shannon. Sterling says, I'm not doing well, just trucking along. Sterling, you give me a call later. T-Bone, what's up? STTN, what's up? Wheel Burner, good morning. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else. T-Bone says, chickens for dar. Chief Freight Hauler, I feel like I lost some intelligence while on the phone with JB Hunt for almost an hour yesterday. Good morning, James G. What's up? I'm no longer on an approved carrier, but they booted me while I was on one of their loads. Nobody knew why. They just act super professional and hang up. So I know that JB Hunt just switched to GoHighway.com. And there was a load that I booked, not yesterday, but the day before. It was a broker that we already set up with. And so I texted Jeff and said, hey, I just booked this load. The broker is wanting the Go Highway set up. So I forwarded him the information. He sends me back a screenshot that we were denied as an interstate carrier. We were denied as this. We were denied, like all this stuff, right? And it didn't make sense. And so I emailed the broker and said, hey, man, what's going on with this? This was yesterday, actually. This was on Shannon's load. And, I'm getting safety to override, I'm getting compliance to override this, yada, yada. So it's like it didn't make sense because we're set up on Go Highway. We're set up with like 50 brokers on Go Highway. And it's just randomly, so it's like, and I know that a lot of it depends on the parameters that the brokerage sets, but still, it was like there was no rhyme or reason for it other than what it did is it caused stress and it caused an hour of my life to try to book this one load. So so Go Highway is an important aspect, like it or not. It's part of the game now. And is it right? Is it fair? Absolutely not. But you know what? What's fair for the lion is not fair for the antelope or the deer or whatever they kill, right? So it's business, and that's what. If you're afraid of the digital platforms, if you're afraid of the AI, if you don't want to deal with that, then you're going to have to make adjustments to insulate yourself from that. And right now, I don't see anybody being able to insulate themselves from what GoHighway.com is doing. It's a simple reality. So, Don says, good morning, Sterling. I've been thinking of you. Good to see you in the chat. Truman, what's up? Building your name and reputation on a certain lane is very helpful in building consistency and predictability. Exactly. Music City gets it. Music City gets it. I talked to him yesterday. He gets it, right? He's got the numbers in the trucks to back it up. 48065, I signed up last weekend. Good deal, Cheap Freight Hauler. I appreciate that. Steve, are you finding green screens rates more accurate than other spot market prediction tools? I don't know, and I'll tell you why. So let's bring this up here. This is off 123, and this is what CDN is talking about. So when you look at market rates, let's look at Reading, PA to Union, Illinois. I just happen to have that in there. So we get the rate. So right now, carrier spot rate is $1.18, right? Based off 11 reports. Now, the 123 is a great low board, but it doesn't quite have the volume of the other low boards. And we're trying to fix that. We're trying to encourage more brokers to use it, and therefore more drivers would use it, okay? But if you look at cargo, so there's 3 different processes they use to give you accurate market rates, right? Now, you're going to have people go like, I don't care what the computer says. I'm going to do this. I need $1,500 for this load. Okay. It would be awesome to get $1,500 for this load. But if some Joe Schmo that doesn't even have this information will do it for $800, you're kind of screwed, right? You're not going to get the load. Knowing that this lane obviously is lame to come out of is important. That's where these market rates come in. So when I call on a load, or when I'm investigating a load that I'm going to call on, I actually bring this up. If I'm on the DAT board trying to book a load, I'll actually bring this market rate tool up because it's been more accurate than DAT. Now, Cargo Chief is what the bills are actually sold for. So the average rate coming out of Reading, PA to Union, Illinois is about $12.74. That's a lot more than what this 905 is, right? And I have found this number to be fairly accurate. Now, green screens, as you can see, that's the AI. That's what CDN is talking about. And as you can see, it's gone as low as 946 to 1085. And so what that tells me is this is what the AI is going to tell me what it is right now for May 24th, 25th, and 26th. So these brokerages that are completely relying on AI for their pricing, they're going to price it between these two numbers. So when they go to the customer, they're going to try to get $1,200. And then if they have to give $10.85 for this, then they still make 20%, which is usually the profit margin brokerages want to be at. Do some make 50%? Absolutely. But then they also lose money as well. You can go back to that article about the rates that Convoy was getting. They were losing on some and they were gaining quite a bit on the others. It's just like, if your rate per mile is $1.80 a mile, well, everything you do above $1.80 is profit. But then there are some loads that you might not get $1.80 for. And so it balances out. That's what you're going for. You're going for consistency and predictability, right? So if you get $3 a mile in one direction and $1 a mile in the next direction, what are you averaging? $2 a mile on everything, right? So that's what you have to look at. And the brokerages do the same thing. There's some loads that they take a hit on, and there's some loads that they got to go back to the customer and look, we can't move it for this. We have to up the pay. And then another brokerage comes in and promises, hey, customer, we can get it moved for that because we got a bunch of schmucks that will do this for $1 a mile. And then they'll go with that because the shipper doesn't care about you. The shipper doesn't care about the truck. They only care about the truck and the carrier if their product is precious. 100 loads of Niagara water, they don't care, right? And you can tell. You can tell the cheap freight customers, they're harder to check in. They're grumpier people. The dock times are stupid. But then like Costco loads usually pay pretty good, right? Well, it's a smooth operation when you go to a Costco distribution center. So but back to your question, green screens is pretty accurate, but usually it's landing between the higher green screens or the lower green screens, depending on the market I'm in, and Cargo Chief. It's usually around there. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at loads going from Union, Illinois. Let's see. They've got 4 posted here. Or from PA, I'm sorry. So $1.72, $1,200, right? That's what they've got it posted for. Here they've got it posted for $1,100. Brunswick, New Jersey, DeKalb, Illinois. And so you got $1.72 here, $1.30 here. As you can see, the more miles, the lower the rate, right? So let's take a look at this Carlisle to Pingree Grove, Illinois. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, it's got 4 extra stops. Oh, it's not going to tell me what they are. And of course, you know, it's got you go down 80. What's the tolls on this? $300 in tolls. And Cargo Chief's got it at $1,280, and they're at $1,200. But Green Screens has got it at $1,073.89. But however, this has got 5 stops. So they're trying to do what normally goes for, but get the stops for free is what I see here. And so calling on this, if they don't have a lot of trucks willing to do the extra stops, I'm going to ask for a lot more. And if they underquoted their customer, that's their problem. If I'm not happy with the amount of stops, then I'll look elsewhere. And I see this a lot. You finally see something at the lane averages that they're giving you, and it's got special things like they're trying to get that 20%. So that's something that you need to consider. This load has 4 or 5 stops. So guess what? This rate check Cargo Chief and Green Screens doesn't mean a dang thing other than you should know that it shouldn't go any lower than these numbers here. I don't care if your cost is $100 a day, which you'd be full of it if it was. You still want to get the most amount of money because truck repairs aren't getting any cheaper, tires aren't getting any cheaper, tolls aren't getting any cheaper. So check this out. So $1,200. Let's say I don't know how to negotiate, and I book this for $1,200. Okay, and let's say the first stop is 300 miles away, and it doesn't deliver till Tuesday. Because remember, we got a holiday coming up. So now I'm on this load, and the rest of this will probably be driven. It's 699 miles, so I probably wouldn't be empty till Wednesday or Thursday on this load. For $1,200, after my carrier's cut and tolls, I'm left with $658 in fuel. Carrier's cut, tolls, and fuel. I'm looking at $658 for what, 5 days? You think I'm going to stay in business if I keep doing that? You have to be smart about this. That's something they have to go. Now, why do I have the search up? Because I got to, someone needs my help getting out of Perryville, Maryland. And they're going to take a hit. They're going to take a hit. So, anyways. Let's see. Shannon says, for a good time, call Snorelord's Trucker Party Line. Please explain the purpose of Go Highway. Go Highway is a carrier vetting system that the brokers are using. It helps with compliance and setting up carrier packets. It streamlines it. And each brokerage can set parameters that if this changes or if this changes or if this changes, it gives a red flag, then it's up to the brokerage if they want to deal with that. It tells you all about the carrier. And if there's been potential double brokering from the carrier, it's a it's a vetting tool that Go Highway uses. And, even JB Hunt's like, wow, this is pretty cool. We're going to do this now. And a lot of carriers are being left out in the cold because of this. So, because let's say that Joe Schmo's brokerage they just implemented, you got to have 2 inspections. Well, Go Highway will tell them if they had that. Safer Web is not 100% accurate. If the company's changed insurance companies, or if the authority was inactive for a minute, or if they have 15 different phone numbers for dispatching, Go Highway lists all of that. So that's what Go Highway is. Dennis says, Jill Biden was my English teacher for 2 years. I've met Joe 3 times. At 17 years old, I knew Joe was an idiot. Just goes to show what direction our education system is going. Yes. Barbara, good morning. What a cute little creature there you got. I finally did get someone to actually talk to me. The only thing that threw a red flag to him was I had 2 email addresses on file. Mine and my wife's are at my company's domain, right? It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Starting driving school, Dan's hotshot in 2 weeks. Decided to step up my game from non-CDL and sleeping in the back seat of my Ford F-250. Well, good luck, man. Good luck. Josh, what's up? Coyote denied my detention on 2 of my loads because in and out times were wrote on the BOL. Pressed them on it because Raycon showed that it was required. And then they said they're denying it because no PO on BOL. Rolls eyes. Yep. Their CDN says Highway scrubs multiple sources of data to identify if the email, phone numbers, addresses are reused with other business names equals fraudulent carriers. If you don't have Go Highway, you're operating blind. And he was warning me before a lot of carriers I know, including our own, started having problems with them. And he was sounding that alarm. It pays to have friends that are in the know and have their finger on the pulse. So anyways, that's what Go Highway is. And JB Hunt just switched to it. And so if you've had to fill out a carrier packet for a brokerage that you knew that you were already set up with, that's what's happening. Now, if you use a dispatch service, you can set them up with Go Highway as well. So, but just know that's how the game's being played right now. Like it or not, this fraud has screwed everything up. So, and WCF Invader says, Go Highway erroneously lists good carriers as fraudulent carriers. I no longer like Go Highway. And so what happens is, and I get it. Trust me, I've heard many carrier fleet owners call me up and curse this Go Highway. It's a fairly new system that needs to be ironed out. So, Lon says, ready to sell at this point. You only want a truck for $25K? No, come on. All right, so here's some good news. You guys want some good news? We'll read this comment, then we'll go over some good news. CDN will Go Highway know the difference between different businesses. Like I have my trucking business and my rental property business listed in the same address. I don't know if he'll be able to answer that. Let's see. Let's look at something here. Let's look at the DAT board real quick. I want to show you guys something. See if I can zoom this in here. Georgia has cooled down a little bit. 631 in, 1618 out. Earlier this week, there was 5,000 loads. Whoop. Oh, I need to get this up here. Sorry. Earlier there was, hold on. I am an amateur. There, let's try that. Okay. Now we got the circle of death. All right, here we go. Earlier this week, Georgia had 5,000 loads coming out and only 1,000 going in. Now they've got 631 in, 1618 out. It's still a hot market. Florida, 544 in, 1093 out. You should be able to get a better rate than normal coming out of Florida. Illinois, 888 in, 576 out. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, they're dead. You hear that, Don? Quit going to Iowa. It's dead. Maryland, 265 in, 91 out. Now, the driver that I'm trying to get him out of Maryland does not know this. Why? Because he does not have this load board subscription. Same thing with we'll do 1, 2, 3. You guys don't like DAT? I understand. I like 1, 2, 3. So let's go to van here. Let's see what it's showing. Oh, look. Maryland. Dead. 94 outbound, 165 inbound. And because the entire Northeast is a soft zone, it's tough to get a good rate out of the Northeast. Between the tolls and the struggles to get out for a decent rate, Northeast is a tough game. If you live up there, then you know how to handle it. Just like the people that live in Dallas, they know how to handle those lower Texas rates. This is all for van, by the way. Minnesota, dead. Missouri, not too bad. Mississippi looks good. North Carolina looks good. New Jersey, no. Nevada, 112, 235 coming out. Nevada's woken up a little bit. Look at New Mexico, 74 in, 35 out. You know how many times TQL likes to fool the carriers into thinking that they're getting a really good rate going into New Mexico, only to come find out that the closest thing you're going to get is coming out of El Paso for a horrible rate? Why? Because they're not aware that load volumes out of New Mexico are bad. Ohio, look at Ohio, 848 in, 468 out. Michigan, let's look at Michigan. 399 in, 253 out. The Midwest is not doing well. North Carolina, 609 in, 908 out. Let's see, let's look at South Carolina, 309 in, 720 out. Now, I've been telling people for 3 weeks, bounce south, back and forth. North to south, south to north. But no, I can't get a good rate out of Georgia. Well, guess what? I can. And you should. But no, let me rephrase that. Don't go to Georgia. In fact, I want you to continue going to Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin. See and do well with that. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just go to Wisconsin to Michigan and back. Just do that. Forget the Southeast. You don't want to go down there. Speaking of Wisconsin, 342 in, 229 out. This is for van, okay? Same thing here. 249 outbound, 332 inbound in Wisconsin. Illinois, 504 outbound, 513 inbound. So that Illinois is different on this load board here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look what's coming out of Illinois. I know, Mrs. A is like, get your stuff together, man. She has to tell me a lot. He'd be lost without you, Mrs. A. That's true. That's true. I could show you a carrier with reused address and then show you related fraudulent business. Highway tracks VIN numbers, tells brokers number of miles versus number of VINs. If the miles make sense, VINs with other company name. I love me some Iowa. Got to give you a challenge, boss, right? Ronnie Dury, good morning from Las Cruces, New Mexico. I've been there. You got that big raven, that big bird that's made of all trash. That's pretty cool. I've got a picture of that somewhere. Cheap Freight, have Steve text me your MC number. I'll see what shows up. There you go. Yes, please do not come to Georgia. Top of the morning, TJ. What's up, man? I hope you guys, if you go watch my small channel, TJ gave me a gift and I put it up in a YouTube short. Everybody check that out. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I got $5.50 a mile this week. Whatever. All right, so this is Illinois. So we got, let's sort this by the highest rate here. Woodridge, Illinois, Mesa, Arizona, $2.03 a mile. Now, it's been a while since they've been paying above $2 a mile to go into Arizona. At least that's my experience. So that's pretty good. That's high. Let's take a look at this one. Now, it's not until, is that June 24th? No, May 24th. That's today. I don't even know what today is. How lame. It picks up at 4, delivers, 28, that's Tuesday. Now, they're right at, now, okay, here's the thing. Here's something else I'm going to tell you guys. Memorial Day weekend, folks. A lot of places ain't going to be unloading you on Monday. And stuff that used to be 3-day transit is now 4-day transit. So get a load through the house so you can spend at least a day at home. These brokers don't pay you a daily rate. They're not going to pay you to sit on a load for an extra day. If they do, it's probably not on a load board. They're probably not having trouble covering that. You have to be strategic with your holiday, right? If you're doing a longer run and you got an extra day, now you can kind of take your time or at least get a 34 in. But here's the thing. You have some leverage because a lot of trucks are going to go home. A lot of people are going to go home for this holiday because they don't want to deal with the traffic. They don't want to deal with, because, traffic obviously beefs up. So they don't want to deal with it. So they're going to go home. And then that's going to put capacity in the truck's favor. So you have a little bit of leverage. They're already at 35, and Cargo Chief's got this at 35.30, and Green Screen's at 34.63. Oh, it's hazmat. That's why. Well, I've been seeing a lot of hazmat on the spot here lately. You want to talk about playing with fire, right? So disregard everything I just said. All right, so here we go. Morris, Illinois to Burley, Idaho. I think I know what this shipper is. This is there's a warehouse not too far from the Costco that, well, if you get the last dock, you have to blindside and it's a pain in the butt because there's a fence there. They're at 32. Cargo Chief's got it at 34. Again, another hazmat load. Can't get away from these hazmat loads. Montana, 224 a mile from Bolingbrook. Is this hazmat? Let's open this one up. And I've dealt with drivers like, oh man, dude, I'm getting 224 a mile and I get to go to Montana. But yeah, you know what you're going to get out of Montana? 0. Look at all them goose eggs right here. Billings to Bolingbrook, nothing. Billings to Illinois, nothing. Billings to anywhere, nothing. Montana, Illinois, nothing. Montana to anywhere, nothing. So is this rate good enough? Nope. Cargo Chief's got it at about $3,000. Green Screens has got it at 37. How about that spread? So obviously you might lose some time. So this rate per day, this profit per day is going to go down a little bit because you're probably going to lose the day deadheading or waiting for that magical moment. A lot of stuff going to California. Here's one, Chicago to Florida, 2,600. But that's not until next week. Not even next week, 2 weeks from now. So we're not worried about that. So let's take that out. Come to Alberta where 80% of flatbed is paid by the hour on the round trip. There you go. Drive really slow. CDM Freight Broker, I wish I could. I'm not allowed into Canada due to child support. Wow. I didn't know Got my coffee, my 3-meat breakfast sandwich. Ah, yes. Breakfast sandwiches and breakfast burritos were my biggest weakness. And, yeah. It made it very hard when I was fasting. I had a broker reach out to me and offer me a dedicated run if I got my hazmat. Problem is, it's only 2 times a week, but $700 per day for 70 miles. Yeah, then we have super cold winters. That's true. I think I got cold winters down now that since I got rid of my fuel ox junk since I got rid of the fuel ox junk that gelled my tanks last winter. Oh, man, I didn't realize that. Memorial Day equals high risk to cargo theft. If you're hauling for a new broker and commodity is high value with delivery to a 3PL warehouse, be suspicious that it's a double brokered load. I believe Canadian fuel is treated to a much lower temperature than here, at least. Probably is. So, but yeah, CDM brings up a good point. If you're going home under a load, you got to be vigilant. If it's going through a 3PL warehouse, just use a broker you trust, right? And that's the thing. If you're using the same brokers, it minimizes risk on cargo theft. It minimizes risk on double brokering. It minimizes that. Like if I was to do a run from, say, Illinois to Washington State, for $5,000, I'm only going to use a broker that I know. I'm not going to do it with Joe Schmo's brokerage that, their credit doesn't show up on the low boards, right? Flatbed trucker, good morning. So, but anyways, these are just my thoughts. Take it with a grain of salt. But I know what I'm seeing in that the brokers are preparing to get it in the shorts. The brokers are preparing for the rates to go up. Now, there's still too many trucks in the system, but what we've seen because of the blitz, because of holidays, that always affects capacity, and it doesn't take much to throw that balance off. You should be able to hold the line and be able to ask for that extra $100, $200 today to get something to go over the weekend or to get yourself home. And I like it when the market's like this because now I'm not losing loads over $20. Now I don't have 5 people trying to underbid me during the phone conversation, right? CDN, explain what a 3PL warehouse is, please. Third-party logistics. Let's see if I got this right. So let's say Niagara Water has a load of water that's going to a Walmart. But Walmart doesn't quite want it yet. It's going to be put at this 3PL warehouse. Or a third-party logistic is wanting to ship something. It goes to a warehouse. So, and then, but it's not, I don't know. Like I said, I can't explain it. I'm not book smart. I may be able to lowboard and figure things out, but beyond that, I'm just another guy with an 8th grade education, like the president said. So, all right. So here we go. Let's look at reefer here. Let's look at the reefer markets. Man, that looks interesting. Let's take a look at Idaho. Idaho's yellow. Let's see if onions are coming out yet. Oh, look at that. 6,400 to go to Cocoa, Florida. $263 a mile. $268 to go to Orlando. Let's see. Yeah, we've got this by highest rate. $220 a mile to go to Swan Quarter, North Carolina. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. Pocatello, Idaho to Greenville, North Carolina. TJ says Viking Brew is on. Good stuff. He is talking about we have this flavor coffee. We have Berserker Brew. And then we also have Viking Brew. If you like a bolder flavor, that's the one you want. It's very similar to Folgers 1850. So you'll dig it. You'll dig it. So thank you, TJ. TJ's a good dude. 89% above my cost per day. Of course, my cost isn't based off a reefer trailer. So now that reminds me. So let me ask you something. So this is reefer, right? This is what the market looks like for reefer, okay? Now let's put van back. Notice how the green and yellow and red changes, right? Now let's put flatbed and step deck. Take out van. Now, I want you to think about this. I'm going to use a restaurant analogy again. CDN said this yesterday. It was genius. You don't see long-lasting restaurants suddenly change what they're selling. Like, you don't see McDonald's suddenly become a chicken place, and you don't see McDonald's suddenly become a fish place, and you don't see McDonald's become suddenly a vegan place, and you don't see McDonald's suddenly... You don't see them following the trends, right? Now, will they have a chicken sandwich? Yes. Will they have a salad with no meat stuff in it? Yes. They'll cater to a little bit of those people, but for the most part, they become good at what they do through consistency and time. And so when a carrier switches, hey, I'm going to go from van to reefer. And then 2 years later, I'm going to go reefer to flatbed. And then 2 years later, I'm going to go from flatbed to power only. Or I'm going to go from, I think I'm going to go back to van. I'm just going to own 3 trailers. You're not building consistency. There's a time to jump platforms. And so look at this flatbed map. This flatbed map, I mean, you can look at, here, let's do this. Here's industry trends by DAT. Flatbed load to truck ratio, it's up 18%, but this was down by 70% last year. 70%. Look at reefer load the truck. 53%. It's up, right? But have the rates followed that? No, it's up 3% only on the reefer rates. But look at these. Look at these numbers, right? And so what was happening was that a bunch of van companies decided to switch to flatbed. So guess what? If flatbed volume were still going down, well, now they got more trucks in their market. A lot of trucks that didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to tie down the equipment. And now safety scores are going through the roof. And now the DOT is targeting flatbed companies. Why? Because they know there's a bunch of them doing it that don't have any business doing it. Now, I understand pivoting. You know, there's a time to pivot, but there's a time if you're just chasing the dollar and you're not creating consistency. You know, you guys have heard of the water torture thing where drip, drip, drip. Why is that? Why is that torture? Because it's the same thing over and over and over. That's what creates results, good or bad. If you're consistently doing loads for this rate, $1.18 a mile, into a market that you have no negotiation strength, and you're constantly losing money, guess what? You're going to go out of business. If you're constantly sitting at truck stops 3 or 4 or 5 days at a time, which I know people that do that, you're going out of business. You just don't know it yet. Or maybe you know it and you're just afraid of the truth. So, but this is the spot market, right? So it fluctuates, right? Look at these rates. Historically, it's gone as low as 803 and as high as 1595. Look at that extreme change just in 1 year. $803 to $1595. $1.05 a mile to $2.08 a mile. That is a huge difference in just 1 year. That's how fast things go. How do you build consistency with that? Well, you got to do it through your costs. You got to do it through your savings. And you got to do it through relationships. You got to do it through sales. You got to do it through marketing. To where none of this matters. And that's possible because I know carriers that are doing it. I know drivers that are doing it. Right? So, but look at this. Look at these charts. They're all over the place, right? So my guess is I would rather have a market that's a lot more stable. So let's do Springfield, Missouri, to my favorite, Columbus, Ohio, the lane that I've been made fun of for doing all the time. All right. Boink. Get rate. All right. Carrier spot rate's got at $11.64, $1.82 a mile based off of 10 reports. Negotiation strength is neutral. That means you're probably going to do okay. Cargo chief's got it at $12.60. And it's been as high as 14.815. So let's look at the historical rates. Again, there was a big jump, 917 to 2145, 20 to 21. That was an anomaly. Hey, I said that right, I think. And as you can see, it's progressively gone down. But other than 2020, it's been fairly even. But I know where to park. Missouri's got the cheapest fuel. I've got the Columbus market. I've got Northern Ohio. I can pick loads that go to Chicago or Indy or Wisconsin. It's or if I want to go south, I just, utilize I-77 all the time. You just emailed me my MC number. So let me see if I can find that. Okay. Yeah, I'll well, you want me to do that now? Hold on. Where did I put the other phone? Oh, it's over here. Which email did you send it to? Forgive me. Well, it's probably not on this phone. Let me try this. Did you do Snorelord at Yahoo? Is that the one you did? Okay, you did. Of course, it's not going to let me sign in. All right. Let me try this here. So let me turn this off. Hide my info. And then I'll text. There. There, Rob, I texted you. Didn't mean to interrupt the show, but we did it anyways, didn't we? Didn't we? Let's see. Onions coming out of New Mexico. I've seen plenty of flatbeds load with them coming through Texas. Yep. Watch my video with special guest Mark Funk, Director of Carrier Procurement at SPI Logistics, who helps explain 1PL to 5PL. That's good. That's a good spot. That's a good thing to start. Quick hit, good morning. So I just emailed you my MC. Got it. What if a flatbedder lost his way and has been running van for the last few years but is now bored of van and wants to try something different? Well, that's different. Because obviously you're going to take your skills of consistency that you've put in van and go to flatbed. It's these people that like, well, I'm not making enough money, so I'm going to go to flatbed. Oh, I'm not making enough money, so I'm going to go to reefer. You know, get good at one thing and then make your moves if you need to. Yahoo DIY. Hello, folks. DIY farmer in the house. Yep. So, anyways, let's go back to sharing our screen here. We're at an hour. I should probably quit. I think I have to make a phone call. I need to make a phone call. So. Maybe I do. I got to look for a load today. Maybe I need to do that live. Should I do that live? Huh? No. Maybe on the members side. But anyways, that's it. That's it for today. I got to get going here. But sorry I did not go live for the last week. Life just gets in the way, man. Work is important. So. We had to take our dog to the vet on Wednesday, and then Wednesday I was slammed. I'll give you a story, right? So I had a truck. I booked a truck. It was a load from Neosho to Kansas City, Lenexa. Now, it was a brokerage that I've used before, but apparently I had to reset ourselves up. Anyways, he gets to the shipper, and they're like, oh, we're not loading any prime trucks today. He was like, this isn't a prime truck. This isn't a prime load. You know, those you don't know, prime has a logistics side, a brokerage side. So that was kind of weird, right? So the communication happened with the broker and the driver and me, and we were just kind of, trying to figure out. And so it was told to us that if you want to stay under that load, we'll pay you layover. And as long as it could be delivered by X amount tomorrow, you're good to go. So the driver, opted to do that. I did not tell him to do that. He wanted to do that because he's trying to get up to Kansas City. So, and there was nothing else on the load board at this time by the time we figured this out because it was an afternoon pickup. Picking up or delivering, listen carefully because there's a couple of people that need to hear this. Picking up and delivering in late afternoon is a harder game to play because if things go south, you're going to lose the rest of that day. Let that sink in. Oh, no Iowa load search? We'll do Iowa load search. All right? So we won't leave just yet. Anyways, the broker acted like they knew this customer. I don't know why they're saying that. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't, whatever. So next day, truck goes there, pick up. Still takes them a while to load them. And he goes to deliver, and it's going in a cave in Lenexa. Now, I didn't know there was a cave in Lenexa. So everybody learned, including the broker. They had no idea it was a cave. And I was like, that might be important information for that broker. Because I know drivers that flat out won't go to a cave because they're claustrophobic. I once had to help a guy because he was a Vietnam vet and he was the guy that had to go into the tunnels to drive him out. And so he didn't do caves or tunnels. He hated that. And I had to kind of talk him off the ledge just to get him in there, right? Just to get him in the cave because we're both delivering at the same time as one of our fellow company drivers that we had at the time at the company I was with. And so that's important information. So the fact that it was a prime load being co-brokered, I'm assuming, and didn't know it was a cave, we got our eye on that one, make sure that we're not getting scammed. But low was delivered, everybody was happy, but we'll see if we get paid for it. Dio says, I missed my Snorelord Viking trucker time. I understand, though. See you next week, Steve. Well, thank you, Dio. All right. Don wants Iowa. So let's find loads here. I might actually already have this. Iowa City, correct? Was it Iowa City? Don. We'll go to anywhere. Anywhere USA. For what day, Don? Tuesday. You said Tuesday, right? So let's do 28th here. Fly. We got it for Van because that's what he has. That's quite a bit. All right, let's do the highest. Let's do the highest rate. Let's see where all the long haul stuff's going. Iowa City. So I got that right. All right. So Freeport, Illinois to Palm Beach, Florida. Nah. Not for less than $2 a mile. Massachusetts. Nah, he doesn't want to go up there. Here we go. How about Belvedere to Aurora? $235 a mile. That's a bit of a deadhead though. I don't know. I don't like that. Let's go back here. Texas, Louisiana, North Carolina. Hey, I like this. Clinton, Iowa to Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know what Don's cost per day is. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't think he wants that out there. It's only 2% above my cost per day, so we're going to talk him up a little bit on that rate because there's room. Cargo Chief's got this at 21. They're at 15. Green Screens has got it at 2160. So they're still low, even if they're going to use AI. 43,000 pounds, so fuel margins are going to be lower. Scale tickets are required for all shipments and non-cart loads. Driver will not be loaded or unloaded without them. Catskills, half a mile from facility. Quick Star, Lincoln Way, blah, 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 Clinton, Iowa. Plastic regrind. I don't know. I don't like that. Let's keep looking here. England Logistics has Buda, Illinois to Durham, North Carolina. Because remember, North Carolina market's pretty good right now. Oh, 18% below cost per day. So, yeah. Now it's only 15,000 pounds, so we'll make a little bit more on the fuel. But yeah, that's way low. Way low. Way low. $42 in tolls. I don't know where the tolls would be. Probably 77 there. Maybe. I don't know. I don't like that one either. If I call on this, they probably won't even. So let's do this. Here, let's do this real quick. Oh, they got a call. If they had a message button, I would do that, but I'm not doing a live call. Now, here's the logo on the Michigan, but we saw that Michigan's not that great, right? And they're only paying $1.67 to go in. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Got a bunch of Beloit to Romeoville. Here we go. Burlington, Iowa to Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. Oh, yeah, you don't go through Arkansas. Well, actually, you wouldn't on that load. Here we go. This is up your alley for the short haul. Urbandale, Iowa to Sedalia, Missouri. I bet you that's Pepsi. You love Pepsi. Oh, share screen. Yep, sorry. Man, I'm such an amateur. Sorry about that. Let's see. Tennessee Trucking. Greetings and salutations, Steve. Morning, sir. Thank you. Good morning to you. Which load? The Sedalia? Urbandale to Sedalia? That's Pepsi Logistics. Is that the one you want? Just in case, we'll save. I'll try to get the Pepsi load. Never have any luck. All right, so let's do this here. Let's hit message. Now, it's already got the loan information, so all I got to do is good morning. Is this load still available? Boink. I can at least get the details. Sedalia is so easy. The Pepsi in Sedalia is really good. They have parking and everything. There's a great pawn shop across the street. I mean, it's like playing Frogger to go across the street, but once you get over there, it's pretty neat. They had some good guitars and some good pew-pews. I doubt they'll get back with me. Not trying to bash Pepsi, but they have communication issues. Anybody who's worked with them knows what I'm talking about. So now I can go down here to notes and say contacted for Donnie. Save note. There we go. Your Axel's got Timewell, Illinois to Canton, North Carolina. I don't have much hope for that Sedalia because it is an 8 hour old posting. Just one very rude unloader there, but other than that, my favorite's deliver. See, and I do haul brokered freight. I've set up with brokers through Highway, but never signed up with them directly. Oh, CDN. CN, I take it you don't haul broker freight based off of lack of info on Highway. You have never set up on Highway. I do see two similar companies. One has a DBA with your name. All right. So this is Timewell, Illinois to Canton, North Carolina. 118-mile deadhead. Cargo Chief's got that's at $15.75. They're not posting the rate. It's only 5,000 pounds, and there's an email address. So, and look in the market though. See, Canton, North Carolina, anywhere 432. There's 8 loads going from Canton to back to Timewell, Illinois. There's 138 out of North Carolina going anywhere. When Highway started, I would get emails from them all the time, and this was when the spamming and scamming was outrageous. I wouldn't set up with anyone I hadn't done business with in the past. That's a good move. That's a good move. It's going to be hard to negotiate a decent rate for Tuesday on today. So Here's South Beloit to Kinloch, Missouri. Probably won't. Yeah, they're not paying enough for that deadhead. Let's see. Burlington to Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. That's going to be in Walmart. That's an hour old. Let's take a look at this one. Don. $30 above cost per day on the cargo, based off of these rates here. They don't have a rate posted. You're going to see a lot of that. A lot of them aren't posting rates because they know that they want to find the cheap carriers that don't know how to quote rates. I once had a driver call me like, dude, I got X amount for this run. I'm like, you realize that usually pays about X amount. And I've done that with this broker. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. Well, because you don't have any tools. You don't have the tools. All right, so now I'm going to leave. Right now I got to go. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Sorry for the short week this week from me. We might try to go live tomorrow on the OG channel, so make sure you subscribe to Snorelord OG. And with that being said, we'll see you Monday. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screws. Chill out, man. You'll be all right. Things are going to get better. And the rates are going to get better. Volumes are getting better. I'm already seeing it. So with that being said, later. Be smart. Be safe. Be good.